Terence Bud Crawford ain't with that. He said, don't tell me I have to take a pay cut for the pandemic. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash app, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to Patreon. I got some stuff coming. We're doing some of the group sessions. You guys will see them on the channel, and it should be fun. If you want to join the extended Egos Army family, become a Patreon member, link in the description, or a YouTube channel member. To become a YouTube channel member, hit the join button underneath this video next to the subscribe button. Terence Crawford, he did an interview with Brian Custer, his podcast, The Last Stand, link in the description. Now, Terence Crawford said that he's not really with a pay cut. He feels he's earned his stripes and he understands what's going on in the world, but he doesn't see the reason to come back if he has to take a pay cut, which a lot of businesses are suffering. A lot of businesses feel they can't fork out money for their employees. Some businesses, restaurants, and others have been furloughing employees. There's no crowd. And Crawford, he says, like, you know, I get it, but that's not my concern. In fact, this is what Terence Crawford said exactly. Quote, just don't try and tell me I have to take a pay cut because of a pandemic. I don't feel that's right when I've already went through what I had to go through coming up. Now you're telling me to go back to ground one and take a pay cut. I just don't feel like I could do that. So, according to Terence Crawford, he's been accustomed to getting a certain level of pay for his fights, and now he feels he's not, you know, really in the business of fighting for free. He said, I'm a prize fighter, dummy. Floyd Mayweather voice. And he's not really trying to fight for peanuts because of the pandemic. Now, I got a couple things to say about this, but before I get started, smash the like button, and also the ESPN Plus link. Use the link in the description if you want to help the channel and get ESPN Plus, home of a lot of original content. They got docu-series. They got one about Bruce Lee, B Water. They got Lance Armstrong, Dennis Rodman 30 for 30, archives of fights, UFC and boxing alike, classic fights, and a slew of content. So if you guys want ESPN Plus, use my link. It does help the channel, and I have it. You can also get it as a standalone, or you can get it as a bundle. That's ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all three apps. One price, $12.99 a month for all three. Again, it's a great time to catch up on shows with people not being out as much in quarantine and whatnot. Now, back to Terence Crawford. I got a couple things to say. Again, make sure you smash the like button. That's his opinion. I feel where he's coming from. He's like, man, I worked hard to get known and to be a name recognized fighter. I'm a great fighter, pound for pound fighter, and I'm a champion. So you got to pay like you weigh. Now, I will say this. It's funny to me that Al Heyman was called the cancer of boxing by some, the detractors, old media. But recently, I've seen Danny Garcia posting money pictures in a luxurious whip. I've seen Jamal Charlo, and he built a house with a guest house that just looks insane. And Wilder, I haven't really seen him like flex, but he's posted a video about the Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Big Floyd, George Floyd situation. Great video. And I really, to be honest, I haven't seen any of these PBC fighters, the staple fighters that are, I guess you would say, in the same element as Terence Crawford. I haven't seen them complain about money, even with the pandemic, or talking about comebacks. In fact, Jamal Charlo said he's coming back in the fall, so it looks like he already has something lined up. Same thing with Andy Ruiz, another Al Heyman fighter. Ruiz said he's coming back, you know, rumored that it could be Chris Arreola. So it's interesting. And Top Rank, You know, they've come back. It's been uber light. I'll be honest with you. I haven't even watched the cards, to be honest. I caught some of them, or I seen some of Shakur. I like Shakur a lot. And I caught some of the Magdaleno fight, but it ended weird in a DQ. I got feedback on what happened, but I to be honest, I haven't even watched him. But now you have one of Top Rank's biggest stars, and he's basically willing to sit out 2020 if he's forced to take a pay cut. That's, you know, that's of concern, I guess you could say. I know ESPN, they have other programming, and it's not just about boxing for them, meaning they have other shows, college football or UFC, things like that. But for the Top Rank programming, when you're trying to get ratings, even in a pandemic, that's not good if Terence Crawford ain't fighting, because he's one of the stars you have and people know. And I think it's kind of a culmination of a couple different things. I said this, and I said this, and I said this. Terence Crawford, he signed the Top Rank extension, and a lot of people had questions. He's a grown man. He could do whatever he wants. But a lot of people had questions like, hey, why didn't you go to Al? Why didn't you at least explore the option of going to PBC? Because all the contemporary fights that you kind of need to be fighting, or people would want to see you fight, or big name fights, would be over there. He didn't do that, and now we're here. So I instantly seen that this was going to be kind of a issue, you know, and I think that's kind of where it's at. Pandemic, that's one thing, but beyond the pandemic, I think Top Rank doesn't really have a shoe-in or a ready-made fight for him, unless we're talking about Al Heyman PBC fighters for Terence Crawford. He already ran through damn near everybody that had a strong working relationship with Top Rank in his division, like Jeff Horn and Duco Events, or the people signed to Bob Arum and Top Rank. Guys like Jose Benavidez, he already knocked him out in the 12th. I was at that fight. He beat Jeff Horn by stoppage. Amir Khan, Eddie Hearn fighter, he already knocked him out, made him quit. Mean Machine, a Top Rank fighter. And now, if it sounds like he said that for a reason. You know, I'm not in the man's finances or business, but I don't see why he would just randomly come up. So it sounds like he's been propositioned to maybe come back, and they maybe informed him that it's possible he have to take a pay cut. But, you know, it is what it is. I just think that's bad for Top Rank boxing on ESPN, because he's one of the biggest stars and the guys that people want to see. They just don't really have anyone for him that is going to command a crazy whatever amount he's thinking he's going to get, or he's been accustomed to get. So we'll see. Bob Arum did an interview, and even Crawford said this, and they said that he could fight Pacquiao, he could fight Sean Porter. Bob Arum said he could fight Sean Porter, Pacquiao, Ugas was a name. I think they said somebody else, and then they said, or Kell Brook. From my experience with Top Rank, it would be the lesser, the better fights would be all those PBC fights. Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Pacquiao, anybody, Broner, that would be a big fight. Danny Garcia. But I think Kell Brook would be probably the most likely if he's gonna fight. Out of the people named Ugas and all them people, it sounds like to me Kell Brook would be the most likely. I don't see him fighting Pacquiao. Like, you gotta ask yourself some stern questions. Pacquiao, he just beat Keith Thurman, a young hungry lion, last year. We're dealing with the pandemic, so he hasn't fought since last summer. He's 40 something years old. And if Top Rank had Pacquiao at the time, Manny Pacquiao, and he had Terence Crawford, and HBO wanted to fight, a big network, then how come the fight never got done? You know, to me, that doesn't make sense. How didn't you get the fight done when you both were assigned to Top Rank? Now that Pacquiao has left and we're in a pandemic, I mean, are you really going to make this happen? To me, it seems less than likely. That's just my honest opinion. Kell Brook, I see that being the most reasonable fight. But, you know, I don't know exactly how much Terence Crawford gets. I was hearing it was like 2.5 to 3.5 million a pop, something like that. But with no crowd, I don't know if Bob Arum saying that's feasible. So it sounds like Crawford is willing to not fight in 2020 if he can't fight with a crowd and can't get what he's been earning. So it's crazy. You know, that's not good news if you're top ranked. The other thing is, like I said, I keep doing the comparison, but PBC, I don't really hear about guys so far complaining, pandemic or not. Meanwhile, DAZN, they just had a public, spat or whatever you want to call it with Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya, and it's the same thing. Ryan Garcia is saying my value, what I bring to the table, the attention I bring, my social media following, and you're offering me $200K. That's not enough, and that's kind of what it sounds like with Terence Crawford. He didn't say an actual number to Brian Custer, but he's saying it got to be worth it. And if it ain't what I've been getting, then I'm not taking a pay cut and I'm not fighting. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next. Kind of interesting news for Crawford to say that. And at the end of the day, this is what kind of people had questions about his loyalty to Top Rank as opposed to maybe going to PBC. But we'll see what's next. I think ultimately the pandemic is a hardship for every business, investors, the money's not necessarily there, or you don't want to dip into what could be profits with no crowd, no live gate. So I don't know. I don't know if they can find a middle ground between Terence Crawford. And unfortunately, I'm thinking they might not be able to unless he works with the Al Heyman fighter, because I don't really see if let's say he's getting $3 million a fight, because I think that's the rumored number he was getting. Who is he going to fight non-PBC where with no crowd they could justify him getting $3 million? He already beat Mean Machine. He already beat Jose Benavidez. What are they gonna do? Jose Benavidez rematch and give him $3 million? Luis Collazo, Besputin. I really don't see any of those fights being quite big enough to make Bob Arum want to give you $3 million for that, where he's not getting a return on his investment via live gate and concessions and beer sales and hot dogs and pizza and concessions and merchandise and stuff like that. So this pandemic it's exposing a lot. It's exposing a lot. We'll see what's next. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Terence Crawford, from the sounds of it, according to his interview with Brian Custer, he may not return this year. Let me know what you guys think. Again, drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use those affiliate links if you're interested. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.